Seahawks fans, we need to talk about rookie Tyrice Knight and his potential impact on the Seattle Seahawks in 2024 and beyond. On this edition of Seahawks Today, we'll tell you everything you need to know about Knight, what the experts are saying, go over his scouting reports, and more coming up on today's show. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. You guys know how it is. On game days, we always spam S in the chat for Seahawks, and I know that we're still several weeks away from the season starting, but that doesn't mean that we can't have a game day environment like we're in the stands at Lumen Field here on today's show. I need at least 300 S's in the comments section. If you're ready for Seattle Seahawks football, spam it in the chat. We'll get started with today's show. The knight in shining armor, that is Tyrice Knight, the Seahawks' fourth-round pick out of UTEP, and comes to Seattle with quite the resume. He was not projected to be a fourth-round pick, as most experts had about a fifth- or sixth-round grade on Knight, and the thought was at the time that the Seahawks may have reached when they drafted Knight in the fourth round, but they may have saw something that not a lot of people did elsewhere, as he was a first-team All-Conference USA selection in 2023, and he led the FBS, all of college football, in solo tackles with 84 in 2023. He also was Conference USA's total tackle leader with 140. And here's the statistics we're talking about for Knight of what he did in his college career. 140 tackles, 15 and a half tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble last year. The year prior, had a total of 97 tackles with 6.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, and 2 forced fumbles. Mike Macdonald has made it no secret that he does have work to do when it comes to coverage, as Mike Macdonald has put a big emphasis on finding coverage linebackers, and you can see the statistics were not great when it came to his coverage skills last year, allowing a QB rating of 100.4, but did just give up only 255 yards and a touchdown. Had 7 pass breakups. You get the good with the bad with Tyrice Knight in coverage. Work to be done as far as that goes. His scouting report going into the draft, Lance Zierlein said the following. Durable, 3-year starter with loads of tackle production on his resume. Knight plays a floating freestyle brand of football from the second level, looking for opportunities to knife in and make plays while he racks up tackles. He fails to play within defensive structure full-time and will lose run fits and overflow action outside the tackle box. He has average speed and below-average man coverage talent. His size and production will be looked upon favorably, but he might not play with the instincts needed to handle what he will see from NFL offenses. Now, if we're going to be honest here, Knight is a work in progress, but the expectations from what we've already seen this offseason in the offseason workout programs are pretty spectacular when it comes to Tyrice Knight. As we dive more in and show you some numbers and some analytics on what he brings to the table, I think you're going to be very impressed with what this guy has for his capabilities, what's in his arsenal, what he could potentially become one day for the Seattle Seahawks defense. How would you grade the pick of Tyrice Knight? Hindsight being 20/20. At the time, you may not have liked it, but now knowing what we know now, what do you think of what John Schneider and Mike Macdonald did to find Tyrice Knight? What would be your grade on it now? A, B, C, D, or F? I'm going with an A-. I understand it might have been a bit of a reach, but the more I learn about this guy, the more excited I am to have him on this Seahawks team. What do you guys think? Way in the comments section, let us know. Seahawks Today is your one-stop shop for all things Seattle Seahawks. We're closing in on 53,000 subscribers on the channel as we bring you our daily news and rumors, live shows twice a week, Madden Sims for every game of this Seahawks season, and we're doing Q&A mailbags, interactive breaking news, and more. This is your go-to headquarters for all things Seattle Seahawks. Join the family. Subscribe now for free for daily Seahawks coverage you won't find anywhere else. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. More on Knight. This scouting report, it jumps off the page, folks, so buckle up on this one. A tackle monster. Yes, you read that right. He has very good vision to go find the ball carrier and bring those guys down. He dives into gaps to end the run. So he's a run stopper. We've talked a lot on this program. The Seahawks need 4 run stoppers on this defense. He unlocks and unloads from his hips. Hips don't lie, as they say. He takes efficient angles. He's very smart about finding where the ball is, but he does have below-average instincts. So that'll be something that he certainly needs to work on in addition to the coverage, which will be a big area of emphasis in Mike Macdonald's defense. You look at the relative athletic score. This was the numbers that he received entering the draft when it came to his testing. And you can see his composite size grade, not that great. It was listed as poor with his height, weight, and bench, specifically his height being an issue. But his composite explosion grade was good. His composite agility grade was okay. His composite speed grade, that was the thing that stood out with a great grade. A 40-yard dash time, you can see very solid, 20-yard dash and 10-yard sprint, all of that very good, giving him an overall score of about a 7.41 from RAS. Now, the thing for Seattle, when it comes to Tyrice Knight, it's no secret that this is a project they're taking on. This is a guy that is going to need time to adapt and evolve and learn how the Seahawks do things. Because if we're being honest here, this Mike Macdonald defense, as excited as we are about it, and the hope is that this defense gets fixed pretty quickly, the reality is that this is a complicated defense. And a guy like Tyrice Knight is going to need time to pick up this defense and find the role that best suits him down the road. Brock Heward does a great job with Seattle Sports Radio, covering the Seattle Seahawks, former Seahawks and Washington Huskies quarterback, works for Fox Sports. He said the following recently on Tyrice Knight. This young man coming into this Mike Macdonald NFL playbook, this defensive scheme, it's going to take him a little time. I think best case scenario, he starts 0 games. Best case scenario, Dodson and Baker are awesome and splendid. 2 things can be true at once here. It is best if Knight sits and learns, because that means that Dodson and Baker are healthy and they're playing at an extremely high level. That's the good. But on the flip side, he needs to be ready if his name is called, because we've already seen this offseason with the injuries to Knight and Dodson. There's probably a pretty good chance that Knight's name is going to be called with the lack of depth that's at that linebacker position right now. Heward went on to say the following: Tyrice Knight better be ready to play. You're going to have to equip him through training camp, and who knows, maybe rotate a series in here or there to get him some run, because he will start some. I'm pretty confident that he will start some games. Now, whether that's this season or in the future, Tyrice Knight is certainly a part of the future of this Seattle Seahawks defense. Do you believe in Tyrice Knight? Are you all in? Are you buying the stock now? I'm buying the stock. I'll explain more. We got a pretty interesting comparison we'll get to in a moment. We want to hear from you guys. Why for yes, in for no. Let us know if you believe in Tyrice Knight or not. One rookie we're buying into is Byron Murphy, and we got his jerseys on sale now at chatsports.com/Murphy. The home jersey, the away jersey, the throwback, men's and women's options, all different sorts of shapes and sizes for you. Free shipping is available as well. Go see for yourself. chatsports.com/Murphy. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Murphy. The comparison that Knight is getting, which is a pretty big one, when you talk about a guy that's a little bit undersized but moves as well as he does in a tackling machine, is somebody that played in Mike Macdonald's defense previously in Baltimore. Roquan Smith, who is arguably the best linebacker in all of football. That's the best case scenario. If he's Roquan Smith, oh, Lord, we have found somebody here, folks. Phil Golds had this to say about the comparison to Roquan Smith. As far as comps, there's one standout on Mock Draftable, Mike Macdonald's former centerpiece in Baltimore, Roquan Smith. Don't get too excited, though, because a closer look with RAS shows that even though there's a similar size, Smith is faster, nearly cracking into the 4.4s on his 40. We also don't have a shuttle or 3-cone scores to compare, which weren't a strength for Knight. If, and it's a big if, the Seahawks found the next Roquan Smith, then they just shocked the NFL and won the entire NFL draft, because we here at Seahawks Today are pretty confident in Byron Murphy, that he's got a chance to be a star in this league, and he's going to be an immediate impact player. Christian Haynes, a lot of people had a first-round grade on him, and you got him in the third round. He's probably going to be your starting right guard. And now you got potentially the next Roquan Smith. Credit where credit's due for John Schneider and Mike McDonald to find this guy that no one else was talking about. And when I look further into Tyrice Knight, this is easier said than done. It's having that want to, that dog in you, right? And there's a lot of guys out there that play football because it's their job, not because of the love of the game. That's not the case with Tyrice Knight. He has the willpower. He is pushing himself to be great in this league. And you go back to what one Seahawks legend had to say just recently. Check this out. This is courtesy of the Locked On Seahawks podcast. I'm excited to see what he becomes, but I know he's got that dog, and so he's going to be just fine. Just trust me, just learn and continue to develop. I think a lot of people are going to be upset when they said it was a reach. Now, Knight might not be that guy this year, but I would buy stock in him now and the player that he eventually becomes. Think about what the Baltimore Ravens did last year with Trenton Simpson. Trenton Simpson barely saw the field, but they felt more than confident in his capabilities to take over for Patrick Queen to play next to Roquan Smith there in Baltimore this upcoming season. Tyrice Knight, it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight that he becomes this very good player in the league, but you give him that time, let him ease into things, see how this defense works, improve his coverage skills, and watch out. The Seahawks may have just found somebody in Tyrice Knight. Who will be the biggest impact rookie for the Seahawks this season? Is it Tyrice Knight? Is it Byron Murphy? Is it Christian Haynes? Is it somebody else? Well, in the comment section, let us know what you think. Follow me on X for continuing Seahawks coverage. At Tyler Jones Live, you can find me there. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.